There are some groups of organisms under kingdom Animalia wherein they have multiple cells, but the cells are loosely arranged. That is why they don't perform a function like a tissue. All the three layers have complete arrangement of cells. They don't have a cavity. So therefore it is the acoelomate. If they ask the question in dash incomplete digestive system is seen, then also the answer is platyhelminths only. So what is incomplete digestive system? They have only one opening. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to this session on first PUC Biology. I'm Dr. Divya, Biology Faculty, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So in this session, let us discuss a topic under Chapter 4, Animal Kingdom, that is basis of classification. So let's understand what are the different bases for classifying an organism, and then let's look into some of the MCQs that can be framed under this particular topic. So talking about the basis of classification, we all know that if we need to organize or put a particular organism under a particular phylum, class, or under taxonomic hierarchy, we have to look into certain categories, right? So based on some categories, like for example, if it is plants, we looked into the habitat of the plant, the plant body. Does it have true roots, true stem or true leaves? And if they have true roots, true stem or true leaves, we went in for looking whether they produce flowers or do not produce flowers. And we went into looking for whether they have seeds which are covered by ovary or seeds which are naked. So based on all that, and also based on how their mode of nutrition, and based on how they grow, all those, some of the characteristics are taken into consideration to classify the plants. Similarly here, we have some categories or considerations that has to be done, or some characters to be put into, wherein we have to see those characters and then decide where exactly under which class under kingdom Animalia we have to put a particular animal into. So based on that, what are those bases of classification? Let us look into. So here the first is levels of organization. So we know about the cellular level of organization, the tissue level of organization, the organ level of organization, and the organ system level of organization. So here the all members of Animalia, that is under kingdom animals, they are multicellular, right? Are animals unicellular? No. Why? Because they are made up of many number of cells. So therefore, they are multicellular. But do you think they are all multicellular, meaning they will show tissue level of organization? No. There are some groups of organisms under kingdom Animalia wherein they have multiple cells, but the cells are loosely arranged. That is why they don't perform a function like a tissue. The best example is the phylum Porifera under kingdom Animalia. So likewise, based on whether it is multicellular or based on whether it is organ level or tissue level, organ level or organ system, the organisms are classified under kingdom Animalia. So as I told you, there is cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization, and organ system level of organization in animals. Now moving on to the organ system level of organization. Again, if we say they have an organ system level of organization, can we put the annelids and we human beings under the same phylum? Not possible. Of course, we are under the same kingdom, but can they put us under the same phylum? No, not possible, because we have to look into the digestive and circulatory system, how exactly their digestive system is and what type of circulatory system they have. So talking about the digestive system, both the different organs in different animals have their own way of functioning or have their own complexity. So based on that, let's look into the digestive system, wherein they have the incomplete digestive system and the complete digestive system. We'll take the example of platyhelminths, which are the flatworms. For example, there is the tapeworm, which is a flatworm. So here, okay, tapeworms has an organ system level of organization, saying that can I club tapeworm and we human beings under the same phylum? No, not possible. Why? Then why have they put these tapeworms under a separate phylum Platyhelminths? Now, because when we look at the digestive system of tapeworms or Platyhelminths, they have only one opening, that is, the food goes into the body of the organism through one opening, and through the same opening the undigested food or the waste product or the excretory product comes out. So that is why it is incomplete digestive system. But in we human beings, we have the mouth to take in food, and we have the anus through which the food comes out, or the undigested food that comes out, right, or the excretory product that comes out. So that is why we cannot be put under Platyhelminths. So based on that is how classification is done. Now talking about complete digestive system, wherein two openings are there, that is the mouth and the anus. So based on this also classification is done. Next, talking about the circulatory system. So in circulatory system, there is two types again here, open type and closed type. So open type circulatory system means the blood is pumped out of the heart directly, and all the organs that are there are bathed in that particular blood. So here the heart actually pumps out the blood directly, and whatever organs are there, it will get the blood. So it is just like throwing a bucket of water on a group of plants. All the plants will get wet, right? Same way here, this concept is nothing but it is open type circulatory system. Next, closed type circulatory system. For example, we human beings, we have closed type circulatory system, or the earthworm that has a closed type circulatory system, wherein what happens here is the heart has arteries, veins and capillaries which are connected to the particular organs, and the blood is pumped only to that particular organs. So that is closed type circulatory system. Next, moving on to the symmetry. So the classification of animals is based on symmetry. Now what is the symmetry? Symmetry means when you take an animal, say for example, I am standing here, wherein if I draw a line exactly in the center here, one half of mine is, or the right half is the mirror image of the left half. Both looks exactly the same, right? That is called as symmetry. So whether an organism shows symmetry or it doesn't show symmetry, if it shows symmetry, what type of symmetry it shows, based on that also classification is done. Now here there is a term called as asymmetrical. So asymmetrical means it is the opposite of symmetry, meaning the organism doesn't exhibit symmetry. The best example I can take of is sponges. So if you see here, sponges, now exactly at the center, I'm going to draw a line. Is this half similar to this half? Does it look the same? No, there is a groove here, you can see, right? No, it doesn't look the same. Can you see here? It is not at all looking the mirror image of the other half. So therefore, they don't show symmetry. They are asymmetrical. Next, talking about symmetrical. In symmetrical, there are two types, that is radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry. Now, radial symmetry, here I have taken the example of a starfish. From the central point, now from the central point, if I draw a line exactly at the center like this, this half looks similar to this half to this, and this one to this to this one to this. So one half of the starfish arm is exactly similar to the other half. That is radial symmetry. Now talking about bilateral symmetry. So here I've taken the example of an arthropod, that is a spider here. Now exactly from the center, I'm just going to draw a line. So this half is exactly the mirror image of the other half, right? So this is bilateral symmetry. Bilateral means I'm drawing a line laterally at the center, wherein it divides into two halves, that is bi means two, wherein one half is exactly the copy of the other half. So that is bilateral symmetry. So based on this, classification is done. So now talking about the cell arrangement, whether it is diploblastic or whether it is triploblastic. So are the cells arranged during the embryo development? Are the cells arranged in 2 embryonic layers, or are the cells arranged in 3 embryonic layers? So talking about diploblastic, so here the cells are arranged in 2 embryonic layers, wherein So I'll draw a cell wherein it has two embryonic layers. So this is one layer which is the ectoderm and inner one layer which will form the endoderm. So if they are arranged in two layers, it is called as the diploblastic. Now in between, if there is one more layer, that is mesoderm, that is middle layer of cells, then we call it as triploblastic. So therefore, cells that are arranged in two embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and an inner endoderm, so we call them as diploblastic. Best example is coelenterate. So phylum Coelenterata are diploblastic. And in those embryos, that is in triploblastic, what happens here is the embryo has one more layer, that is a third germinal layer, which is called as mesoderm. That is, meso means middle, ecto means outside, derma means layer or skin. So ecto, outside, derma, layer, ectoderm, outer layer, endoderm, endo means inside, inner layer, meso means middle, middle layer. So they'll have a middle layer which is a third germinal layer, then it is a diploblastic cell arrangement. So based on whether they are diploblastic, whether they have two embryonic layers of cell or whether they have three embryonic layers of cell, they are on basis of that also classification is done. So next, talking about the coelom. Coelom is nothing but a body cavity. So whether organisms have a body cavity or whether they do not have a body cavity. So if they have a body cavity, they are called as coelomates. So here, some of the animals, they have a body cavity, that is annelids, mollusks and arthropods, as well as echinoderms, hemichordates and chordates. All these are coelomates wherein they have a body cavity. So if you can see here about coelomates, so they have a coelom. Why? Because they have an outer arrangement of cell, ectoderm, and an inner arrangement of cell, endoderm. So in between there is a cavity that is there. Between, that is endoderm, here also few cells are there, here also few cells are there. But in between they have a cavity. So that is why, or a coelom. So that is why they are called as coelomates. Now talking about pseudocoelomates. So they have a false coelom. So here what happens in pseudocoelomates is, again they'll have a layer of ectoderm and they'll have a layer of endoderm. But here in between, can you see there is one more layer wherein they'll have patches of mesoderm. Mesoderm cells are there, or the third germinal layer is there, but how are the cells arranged? In the form of patches, leaving cavities in between. So all these are the cavities, leaving cavities in between. So that is why it is called a pseudocoelomate, or they have a false coelom wherein it looks like a cavity, but in spite of that it is not completely a cavity. There are cells scattered here and there in the middle or in the mesoderm. Next, acoelomate means the body cavity is absent. Example in platyhelminths. So there is this ectoderm, then comes the mesoderm and the endoderm. So because all the three layers have complete arrangement of cells, they don't have a cavity. So therefore it is a acoelomate. So based on the coelom also classification of organism is done. Next, based on segments. So whether segments are present or not. So it is only the annelids, that is phylum Annelida, they have segments in the body. Example, nereis, leech and earthworms. So they exhibit a kind of segmentation which is called as metamerism. So this term is very important in exam point of view, metamerism. So metamerism means the body is externally, that is towards the outside and towards the inside. They are divided into segments, and in these segments some of the organs are at a stretch arranged. So in wherever there is a segment, no, they'll have continuous. For example, nephridia. Each segment continuously they'll have nephredias arranged on either end. So that is called as metamerism. So earthworm is the best example that exhibits metamerism. So this is about segmentation. Next, based on the presence or absence of notochord. So notochord is a structure that is developed during the embryonic stage. So they are the mesodermally. So some of the mesoderm cells, they differentiate or they convert into a rod-like structure during the embryonic development in the dorsal side. So in the dorsal side, can you see a rod-like structure continuously here? This is during the embryonic time, some of the mesodermal cells, they develop into a rod-like structure that is nothing but notochord. So if they have a notochord, they are placed under chordates, meaning those which have a notochord which later on develops into a backbone, or those which do not have a notochord are put under non-chordates. Best example is porifera, echinoderms, the asculments, the annelids, and the hemichordates. Then we have porifera. All these come under the non-chordates. So porifera, asculments, coelenterate, cnidarians, annelids, platyhelminths. So almost all of those come under non-chordates. So chordates, under that we have class aves, mammalia, all those come under the amphibians, all those come under the chordates. So this is about notochord. So now you know clearly what are some of the characteristics that are considered to group organisms under kingdom Animalia into different phylums. So now because we know this, let us see what all types of MCQs can be framed under this particular topic. So talking about the first one, dash shows cellular level of organization. Is it sponges, coelenterates, annelids, or mollusks? So sponges are the ones that show cellular level of organization because the rest of them shows tissue level of organization. Sponges, why cellular? Because though they are multicellular, the cells are not closed. They're not closely arranged. They are loosely arranged. Therefore, they don't group together to perform function like a tissue. But instead, individual cells or small cells, they perform their own particular function. So therefore, these exhibit sponges, or they can write it as poriferans also. So don't get confused in the exam if they ask poriferans. Both are one and the same. Poriferans are nothing but sponges. Okay, it is sponges or poriferans. Next, coelenterates have dash level of organization. Is it cellular, tissue, organ system? So coelenterates, they have tissue level of organization wherein group of cells come together to perform a particular function. So they exhibit tissue level of organization. So they can also ask cnidarians have dash level of organization because coelenterates are also called as cnidarians. Here also don't get confused in the exam. They are also called as cnidarians. So they have tissue level. For example, jellyfish, the tentacles, which is multicellular, they function like, what is a particular function? To capture prey as a defense mechanism by the organism. For all that is a function. So therefore they have tissue level of organization. So next, dash exhibits organ level of organization. Is it sponges? No, because sponges shows cellular level of organization. Is it coelenterates? No, it is tissue level of organization. Is it annelids? No, it has organ level of organization or organ system level of organization. It is platyhelminths because they show organ level of organization. Annelids show organ system level of organization. Right answer here is platyhelminths. So here instead of platyhelminths, they can also write it as flatworms. So don't get confused if they, instead of platyhelminths, if they give the word flatworms, because flatworms are nothing but platyhelminths. So they can give an example here, that is, so under platyhelminths, they can give it like liver fluke. So you have to select liver fluke as the answer, or they can give it as tapeworm or tinea. Or this is fasciola. They can also tapeworm. So you have to write it the same. Or they can ask as fasciola, or they can ask it as tinea. All these are one and the same. So you have to be careful when you write the MCQs. Next, arthropods show dash level of organization. So arthropods, phylum arthropods, wherein insects come. So they show organ system level of organization. So arthropods are the largest phylum under kingdom Animalia. So dash is the largest phylum under kingdom Animalia. So like that also question can be framed. Okay. In dash, both the mouth and anus functions through the same opening. Is it echinoderms? Is it chordates? Is it mollusks? Or in platyhelminths? So it is not chordates, because chordates, they have a separate. So is it echinoderms? No, they have a complete digestive system. That is, the mouth and the anus is different. Is it chordates? No, they have a complete digestive system. Is it mollusk? No, they have a complete digestive system. So all these options are wrong. The right answer is platyhelminths, which has an incomplete digestive system, wherein only one opening will be there. Through that opening only food will enter and waste product will come out. Or they can ask the question as, in dash complete digestive system is seen, or they can ask, in dash incomplete digestive system is seen. If they ask the question, in dash incomplete digestive system is seen, then also the answer is platyhelminths only. So what is incomplete digestive system? They have only one opening. So that means it is platyhelminths. So next question. Yeah, as I told you, dash has an incomplete digestive system. It is platyhelminths. Circulatory system in which the organs are bathed in blood is called as. What do you call that particular type of circulatory system? Is it open type, closed type, both A and B, or none of the above? It is open type. So in open type, they don't have, the heart doesn't have arteries, veins and all that. So it directly pumps blood and all the organs are bathed in the blood. Next, in closed type of circulatory system, the blood is circulated through capillaries, arteries, veins, all of the above. It is all of the above, because all these are involved in transporting blood to different organs. Next, dash is an example for asymmetry. Is it crab, starfish, sponge or frog? It is sponges, because only sponges are the members which exhibit asymmetry. Crab shows bilateral symmetry. Starfish shows radial symmetry, and frog also shows bilateral symmetry. It is only sponges wherein they are asymmetrical, that is, one half doesn't look exactly similar to the other half. Next one, animals in which the cells are arranged in two embryonic layers are called. It is called as diploblastic. Here only two means diploblastic. Animals in which the cells are arranged in three layers. Again here, three. It is triploblastic. The animals possessing coelom are called. It is coelomates. The answer is A. Pseudocoelomates means they have a coelom, but it is a false coelom. Acoelomate means they don't have a coelom. Mesomates, there is no term like that. Okay. Dash is an example for acoelomate. Is it chordates, platyhelminths, asculminths or arthropods? So here the answer is platyhelminths. So here chordates and arthropods are coelomates. Asculminths, they are pseudocoelomates. So the question can come up. Dash is an example for pseudocoelomates. So dash exhibits pseudocoelomates. It is asculminths. Coeloms or acoelomates are platyhelminths. Coelomates are chordates and arthropods. Metamerism is observed in dash. So metamerism means segments, and I told you metamerism is seen only in earthworms, that is in annelids. Earthworm, leech, nereis, all that shows metamerism. Next, animals with notochord are called. Is it coelomate? No. Animals with body cavity are called coelomates. Is it chordate? Yes. Chordate is the right answer. Is it non-chordate? No, because animals without notochord are called non-chordates. Is it symmetrical? No. Symmetrical has to do something with the body division, because symmetrical has something to do with the body division. So this was about the session wherein we learnt about the different bases for classifying an organism, and also we learned some of the MCQs that can be framed out of this particular topic. So I hope you understood this session. We shall meet again in the coming session, taking up a new topic and studying some of the MCQs under it. So see you in the next session. Thank you.